this video we will be talking about the molecular basis of cancer or hallmarks of the cancer. Okay, so to discuss this, before discussing this, I would like to discuss something else with you. So suppose we want to grow a plant, okay, and we want it to grow for infinite time, and we want it to spread all over the earth. And now what are the things that we will need to grow this plant all over the earth and for infinite time? So the first thing that we will be needing is this self-sufficiency in growth signals. Now what is the self-sufficiency in growth signals? There are some growth signals that promote the growth of the plant, that is sunlight and some enzymes and also the water. Okay, so there should be self-sufficiency in these factors to grow the plant of ours. Okay, and because we want to grow this plant for infinite time, these factors should always be present there to make it grow. Okay, now the second thing that we will be needing to grow our plant is the fact we have to remove the detrimental factor that will decrease the growth of our plant. Okay, so this thing is called as insensitivity to growth inhibitory signals. Okay, growth inhibitory signals can be the insufficiency of water or insufficiency of sunlight, or there can be predators that are eating our plants. Okay, so there should be no any kind of these things. So the second one is insensitivity to growth inhibitory signals. Okay, now the third one that we will be needing is to grow our plant for infinite time. We want our plant not to get aged. Okay, not to get aged and not to die from being aged. Okay, so the third one, the important thing is we don't want our plant to die itself. Okay, the fourth one is the so if we want it to grow larger and larger, we will be needing the replication of the cells of the plant. Okay, so there should be limitless replication of these plant cells to grow to make it more and more big, larger. Okay, so there should be a limitless replicating potential in this plant. Now what suppose if our plant had grown so much, and now what are the things that these grown parts of the plant will need? So the main thing that it will need is the food and water supply. Okay, so for the food and water supply, there should be the presence of xylem phloem there. Okay, and this xylem phloem should grow to the parts of the plant and that is newly grown. Okay, so this in the terms of tumor we can say as a angiogenesis. Okay, and now the next point is, now the one plant that we have grown has grown so much. Okay, now it has to grow the multiple parts of the earth to make whole of the earth of our to grow all over the earth. Okay, so there should be seeding, and this seed should germinate so that there should be all over the growth all over the earth. Okay, now the next point is the cellular metabolism. Okay, cellular metabolism. Now when the plant is so grown, there should be a change in cellular metabolism to cope up with the growth of the plant. Okay, so there should be a change in cellular metabolism also. And the last one is we have to secure it from the person who want to cut it. Okay, so there should be a mechanism by which it can escape this recognition by the person who want to destroy it or cut it. Okay, so these are the basic points that we will need to grow a plant. Okay, now in terms of tumor, the first one is self-sufficiency in growth signals. So there should be self-sufficiency in growth signals that will promote our tumor to grow and grow more. Okay. The second point is insensitivity to growth inhibitor signals. So the same thing, our tumor, there should be no any signal that is suppressing the process of this tumor generation. Okay. And the third one is sustained angiogenesis. Okay, there should be proper blood supply that will provide more nutrition and as well as oxygen to our to growing tumor cells. And there should be evasion of apoptosis. There should not be any kind of apoptosis there, because if apoptosis happens, although apoptosis happens, but the rate of replication should always be higher than the rate of apoptosis, or there should be complete evasion of the apoptosis. Okay. Now the next point is limitless replicating potential. There should be limitless replicating potential. Our cell can grow more and more with the proper supply of the proper oxygen and the nutrition via the blood. So we have already talked about that is supplied by the angiogenesis. So if there is sustained angiogenesis, there will be proper supply of nutrition and oxygen, and more will be the growth. Okay. Now the next point is invasion and metastasis. So it is a very important thing, as metastasis is the thing that defines the malignant tumor. So there should be an invasion or metastasis that will lead our tumor to spread other parts of the body. Okay. And altered cellular metabolism is always needed to cope up with the extra supply of the nutrition as well as oxygen. Okay. And the last point is escape of immune recognition. So here, who is trying to destroy our tumor cells? Our own immune system is trying to destroy it. Okay. So there should be escape mechanism, escape of immune recognition. So these were the points that they can ask, what are the hallmarks of the cancer? And I think now you will be knowing, and you can easily remember these things. Okay. Cell sufficiency in growth factors, insensitivity to growth inhibitory signals. Then okay, let me write it. The first point is cell sufficiency in growth signals. Okay. In growth signals. The second point, insensitivity to growth inhibitory signals. The third point is evasion of apoptosis. Fourth point, what is the fourth point? Limitless replicating potential. Okay. Limitless replicating potential. Okay. Replicating potential. Next point, what was the next point? Sustained angiogenesis. Okay. Sustained angiogenesis is the proper supply of the nutrition and the oxygen will be supplied by the blood, and that blood will come from the capillaries. So there should be a angiogenesis that will give us this supply for our tumor cells. Okay. Angiogenesis. The sixth one is invasion and metastasis. Okay. Metastasis. The seventh is altered cellular metabolism. To cope up with this supply of this oxygen and nutrition, you have to change the basic cellular metabolism. So altered cellular metabolism. The next point is escape of immune recognition. Okay, it is a very important part. because if the immune system recognizes the tumor cells, it will destroy the tumor cells. So what will be the significance of a tumor if it get destroyed by the immune cells? Okay, so escape of immune recognition. Okay, now we will be talking about each and every point one by one. Okay, recognition. So for first point that we will be discussing is first is self sufficiency in growth factors. Okay, and so here, what are the growth factors for a tumor? What are the growth factors? These growth factors are the oncogenes. Okay, so these oncogenes are present in each and every one of us. Okay, but in these people who develop tumor, these oncogenes, these proto-oncogenes get activated and become the oncogenes. Okay, so these are the, here let me write it, this is the proto-oncogene, okay, and what are the reasons by which, what are the method by which this proto-oncogene gets activated? So here are these things. Okay, the first one is via translocation. Okay, via translocation these genes can become activated. Translocation. The second one is mutation, and most of the time this mutation is point mutation. The third point is overexpression of the gene. Overexpression of these genes can also activate these proto-oncogenes. And the fourth one and the last point is amplification. So this amplification can also promote the proto-oncogene to convert in the oncogene. Okay, so it will be converted to oncogenes. This oncogene will form oncoprotein. Okay, oncoprotein, and this oncoprotein is the signal that we were talking about in the plant respect, that the sunlight and the water. So here this oncoprotein is the signal for cells to grow in a cancerous manner. Okay, so this is how a proto-oncogene gets converted into oncogene. So these are the 4 steps. There can be translocation, the point mutation, overexpression, or amplification. These all things can convert this proto-oncogene into oncogenes. Okay, so what are the important things that is related with these proto-oncogenes that are responsible for the growth of the tumor cells? Okay, so the first one is growth factors. The second one is growth factor receptors. Okay, receptors. Third one is signal transduction proteins. Okay, signal transduction proteins. The fourth one is nuclear transcription factors. Transcription factors. And the last one is increased cyclins. Okay, now any overexpression of any hyperactivity of these will also increase the amount of cyclins that will increase the proliferation of the cells. Okay, so let's first discuss about the growth factors. Okay, so we have talked about the hallmarks of the cancer, and the first point was self-sufficiency in growth signals, and in this first point there we got these 5 points, that is growth factors, growth factor receptors, and signal transduction proteins, nuclear transcription factors, and increased cyclins. Now we will talk about each and every of them. Okay, so first we will be talking about the growth factors. So first point, in the first point, okay, so in the first point this is growth factors. So there are three main growth factors here. The first one is cis gene, SIS gene. Okay, this cis gene is responsible for astrocytoma or glioma. Astrocytoma. Okay. Now the second point is A and B. Here it is hepatocyte growth factors. Hepatocyte growth factor. Now, can anyone tell me what will be the name of the cancer which is because of the hepatocyte growth factor? Of course, it will be hepatocellular carcinoma. So it will be HCC, hepatocellular carcinoma. Okay, and the third one is HST. This HST is responsible for melanoma. Okay, so these 3 points are very important for the growth factor, for in respect of growth factor. So what are the changes that happen in this gene that result in these carcinomas, in this cancer? So we have already talked about what possible changes can happen: translocation, point mutation, overexpression or amplification. So what here happening is there is overexpression of each and every gene. If there is overexpression of cis gene, that will result in astrocytoma. Overexpression of HGF will result in HCC, and overexpression of HST will result in melanoma. Okay, so this was the basis of these growth factors. Now the second point is growth factor receptors. Okay, so growth factor receptors, the first one is c-KIT. Okay, and this is c-KIT. c-KIT is associated with gastrointestinal stromal tumor. Okay, so gastrointestinal stromal tumor, in short GIST, and here point mutation is the reason for this GIST. Point mutation in c-KIT gene causes GIST. Now the second one is endothelial growth factor receptor, EGFR. So there are two types of EGFR, the type 1 and type 2. So this type 1 is also called as ERB1, ERB1, and it is also called as ERB2. Now the first one, EGFR1, is associated with adenocarcinoma of lung, and the second one, the EGFR2, is related to breast and ovarian cancers. So adenocarcinoma of lung and breast and ovarian cancers. So as it is EGFR1, so it includes only one. Okay, and EGFR2, so it includes two, breast and ovarian cancer. Okay, so it is just to remember the name of these cancers. There that if they ask about EGFR1, you will think of one, and that is adenocarcinoma of lung. If that they ask about EGFR2, then you should think of 2, and 2 are the breast cancer and ovarian cancer. Okay, now the third one is RET. Now point mutation in RET gene can cause medullary carcinoma of thyroid, and Mann-2 syndrome. So this Mantoux syndrome, actually it also represents pheochromocytoma and medullary carcinoma of thyroid. Okay, now if I talk about the drugs for this lung cancer and for the breast cancer, for this and this, we can use the drugs that we use to treat adenocarcinoma of lung and breast cancer are, there are three drugs: gefitinib, erlotinib and trastuzumab. So GET, you can remember it by GET, and gefitinib, erlotinib, and trastuzumab. Okay, so now we have already talked about the RET gene. Okay, now the fourth one is ALK gene. This mutation of this ALK gene will cause ALBCL. We have already talked about this lymphoma in our lymphoma videos, so you can see there. And the second one, inflammatory myofibroblastic tumor. Okay, inflammatory myofibroblastic tumor. Also adenocarcinoma of lung. So first we talked about the hallmarks of tumor, hallmarks of cancer. Okay, after that we talked about the first one, which is self-sufficiency in growth signals. In that we were having 5 topics, that were growth factor receptors, signal transduction protein, nuclear transduction factors, and cyclins. Okay, cyclins and CDKs. So we have talked about the 2 points, that is growth factors and growth factor receptors. Now the third point is the signal transduction proteins. This part is very important. Okay, so please give attention. Okay, transduction proteins. Okay, so signal transduction protein, and the first one is RAS. It is most important STP involved in cancers. Okay, so it is most important STP that is involved in cancers. And talking about RAS, so there are three main types of RAS. Okay, the K type, KRAS, the second one is HRAS, and the third one is NRAS. Now point mutation in all these three can cause different types of tumors. Okay, so point mutation in KRAS gene can cause colon, pancreas, and lung cancer. Okay, colon, pancreas, and lung cancer, pancreas and lung carcinomas. Now, point mutation in HRAS gene will be causing bladder and kidney related carcinomas, and the point mutation in NRAS will cause melanoma. Okay, so KRAS, HRAS, NRAS, point mutation in all three. KRAS will cause CPL, colon, pancreas and lung carcinoma. The HRAS will be causing bladder and kidney related carcinomas, and NRAS will cause melanomas. Okay, now this RAS protein, the protein which comes from this after the translation of this RAS gene, so it can be active or inactive. Okay, so if it is active, inactive. Okay, if it is active, it is a GTP RAS. Okay, it is attached with the GTP to become active. If it is inactive, it will be GDP RAS. Okay, now this GDP RAS inhibits cell proliferation. Okay, this inhibits cell proliferation, but if it becomes active, it promotes cell proliferation. So this is the basic mechanism by which RAS controls the proliferation of the cells. Okay, so let's see what happens in the normal physiology of the body system and how a cell proliferate. So GF and GFR, okay, GF and GFR will convert this GDP RAS which is inactive into GTP RAS which is active. Okay, and this GTP RAS will give signals to cell for cell cycle. Okay, and this cell cycle will further lead to cell proliferation. Now we have to do something, and we after the cell proliferation or the normal cell cycle, we have to convert this GTP RAS to GDP RAS. Okay, now this conversion happens because of the enzyme GTPase. Okay, GTPase. Okay, and this GTPase is activated by GTPase activating proteins. GTPase activating proteins. Okay, in short, these are called GAPs. Okay, activating proteins. Now because of the point mutation, this GTPase cannot work properly and it cannot pull the extra phosphate that is present in the GTP. So this GTP RAS will always be active. Okay, and because of this there will be continuous cell cycle and continuous proliferation of the cell that we were willing. And what we were talking about, the first topic, the first point is self-sustaining growth signals. Okay, so the self-sustaining growth signals are coming from these kind of mutations. Okay, so this was the basic idea about it. Now the second gene, second STP is ABL. You must have heard this ABL gene, BCR-ABL. Okay, and BCR-ABL gene, if you have not heard about it, BCR-ABL also causes CML and LL and many other leukemias also. Okay, so go and read about BCR-ABL gene. For now, the T922. Okay, T922. This translocation of 922 will result in BCR-ABL. Okay, BCR-ABL translocation. Okay, now this activation of this BCR-ABL translocation causes activation of tyrosine kinase. Okay, and that tyrosine kinase is responsible for leukemias. So activate tyrosine kinase, and this is responsible for leukemias. Okay, now this BCR-ABL, the product of BCR-ABL can be of can have two type of weights. Okay, two type of chains that will decide the weight of the product of BCR-ABL gene. So the first one, it can be of 210 kilodaltons or 190 kilodaltons. If it is 210 kilodaltons, it will manifest as CML. Okay, and if it is 190 kilodaltons, it will manifest as ALL. Okay, now what we will be using in these leukemias, we will give the person imatinib. Okay, this imatinib is more effective against CML than AML, then ALL. Okay, sorry, then ALL. So imatinib will be the treatment of choice for the CML and CML then ALL, and we will talk more about these in further videos. Okay, CML, ALL, AML and CLL. Okay, so let's go further and talk about the BRAF gene. Okay, BRAF V60. BRAF, this is also an important question that they ask. So let's see what are the tumors that is manifested by this BRAF V60 gene. Okay, so it causes papillary carcinoma of thyroid, papillary carcinoma of thyroid, hairy cell leukemia. Okay, hairy cell leukemia, astrocytoma and colon cancer. And colon cancers. Also it can manifest melanoma. Okay, so if a person is having BRAF mutation, so BRAF mutation can lead to 100% lead to hairy cell leukemia. Okay, and 60% is the occurrence of melanoma. Okay, so this was about BRAF V60 gene, and other than this there is one gene, that is Notch gene, that is responsible for ALL. Okay, and the last one is beta catenin. Okay, so this beta catenin increases MYC activity. What is MYC? MYC is a nuclear transcription factor that we will be discussing later in this video. Okay, so it increases the MYC activity, that further increases the cell proliferation. APC gene and E-cadherins, these both decrease the beta catenin activities. Okay, so these are helpful in decreasing the tumor activity. okay, and the occurrence of tumor. Also, beta catenin mutation can cause colon cancer. Okay, it can cause colon cancer. Okay. Now the next point is nuclear transcription factor or NTP. The fifth point is NTP or nuclear transcription factors. Now nuclear transcription factor, and one most important nuclear transcription factor is MYC gene. Okay, MYC gene. So what MYC gene do? It increases cyclin activity. It increases cyclin activity. It increases telomerase. And it is also known as master regulator of cell. Okay, so it is also important, friends, MYC gene, and these are the function of it. It increases cyclin activity, it can increase telomerase enzyme, and also it is called as master regulator of the cell. Okay, and the subtypes of MYC gene are C subtype, N subtype, and L subtype. Okay, so C subtype can cause Burkitt's lymphoma. This Burkitt's lymphoma has also been discussed in our lymphoma videos, so you can check there. Okay, and this N causes neuro. N is the NMYC gene mutation is in reason for neuroblastoma, and L stands for lung cancer or small cell carcinoma of lung. Okay, and now let's talk about the cyclins and CDKs. Okay, cyclins and CDKs. So what is CDK? It is a cyclin dependent kinase. Okay, cyclin dependent kinase. So before talking about cyclins and CDKs, let's first talk about the cell cycle. So we already know there are 4 phases of cell cycle: the Z1 phase, S phase, Z2 phase, and M phase. Okay, in between these phases and for the transition of one phase to another, there are different cyclins and CDK responsible for. For the transfer of G1 phase to S phase, the cyclin which is responsible here is cyclin D, and CDK 4 and 6. Okay, and any type of alteration in these cyclins and CDKs, these particular cyclin and CDKs will result in these are associated with mantle cell lymphoma. Okay, so mantle cell lymphoma. Now conversion of S phase to G2 phase. Here we use cyclin A and CDK 2 1, CDK 2 and 1. Okay, and in the transition from G2 to M, that is cyclin B and CDK 1. Okay, CDK 1. So this was the CDKs and cyclins that are used in the cell cycle for the transition from one phase to another phase. Okay, so what are the phases? These phases are called, so this G1 is called quiescent phase. Quiescent phase. Okay, and there are some checkpoints here. So the first checkpoint in a cell cycle is here. This is one where we are transitioning from G1 to S, and the another one is here between G2 and M. So this is second checkpoint. Okay, so For the transition of quiescent phase to first checkpoint, we use for the transition, okay, from quiescent to first checkpoint, we use cyclin D and CDK 4 6, okay. For and after checkpoint 1 to S phase, we use cyclin E CDK 2, okay. I have not written it here, okay. Here it is cyclin E CDK 2. For the transition from S phase to the G2 phase, it is cyclin A and 2 1, okay, CDK 2 1. And for transition from G2 phase to M phase directly, okay, it also includes checkpoint 2. So this will include cyclin B and CDK 1, okay. So let's quickly discuss again it. So the cell cycle consists of 4 phases: G1, S, G2, M, okay. And there are 2 checkpoints. One is situated between G1 and S phase, and the second one is between G2 and M phase, okay. Now the cyclin D and CDK 4 and 6 are responsible for the transition of G1 to till first checkpoint, okay. From first checkpoint to S phase, the transition is related to cyclin E and CDK 2, okay. Now the transition from S phase to G2 phase will require cyclin A and CDK 2 1, and from transition from G2 to M, including checkpoint 2, we will require cyclin B and CDK 1, okay. So these are the role of cyclins and CDKs in transfer for the transition of one phase to another phase. So these are the roles of cyclins and CDKs in the cell cycle, okay. Now what increases the CDK activity? Activity is increased by cyclins and decreased by CDK inhibitors, okay. CDK inhibitors. Now this point is very important because we have certain genes that are actually CDK inhibitors, okay. So P21, P27 and P57, okay. So and here P15, P16, 18 and 19, these all are CDK inhibitors, and that decrease the expression of CDK activity, okay. Now these particular group, the 15, 16, 18 and 19, are specific for CDK 4 and 6, and these particular group are non-specific and that are for all CDKs, okay. These are for all CDKs. So this was all about the first point in our hallmarks of the neoplasia, hallmarks of the cancer. I will be summarizing all the things that we have learned in this video. So these are the hallmarks of neoplasia, that is self-sufficiency in growth signals, insensitivity to growth inhibitory signals, evasion of apoptosis, the limitless replicating potential, sustained angiogenesis, invasion and metastasis, and altered cellular metabolism and escape of immune recognition. That these points we have learned via the example of the plant, okay. So and starting with the first point, that is self-sufficiency in growth signal, and the most important point is the proto-oncogene. Okay, the proto-oncogene gets converted into oncogenes, that is activated oncogenes via these are four mechanisms. There are four mechanisms that can convert proto-oncogene into oncogene, that is translocation, point mutation, overexpression, or amplification. Okay, so these activated oncogenes then can further form oncoprotein that can lead to cancer. Okay, now proto-oncogenes can further be divided into growth factors, growth factor receptors, and sigma transduction proteins, nuclear transfactors, nuclear transcription factors, and in case cyclins. Okay, cyclins are very important. Cyclins play a very important role in cell cycle that we will be discussing in this fifth point. So the proto-oncogene, these mutation of these growth factors and growth factor receptor and all these five will cause the formation of a neoplasia. Okay, and this will help in the cell sufficiency to maintain the cell sufficiency in growth signals. So all these four will further be increasing the cyclin. So the basic role of these everything is to increase cyclin levels, because if there is increased cyclin, there will be more proliferation of the cells. So the starting with the first one, that is growth factor, and this cisgene mutation of the cisgene will cause astrocytoma. If there is any change in the hepatocyte growth factor, that will lead to hepatocellular carcinoma. HST gene change will lead to melanoma. Okay, now we will talk about the growth factor receptors. Okay, so the first one is c-KIT. So point mutation in c-KIT will lead to GIST, okay, gastrointestinal stromal tumor, and EGFR can further be divided into EGFR1, EGFR2, or we can say them ERB1 or ERB2. So EGFR1 will cause adenocarcinoma of lung, and EGFR2 will cause breast and ovarian cancers. To treat adenocarcinoma of lung and breast cancers, we have three main drugs, that is GET. Okay, gefitinib, allotinib, and trastuzumab. Okay, so this GET you have to remember, that is a plus point here. And the RET point mutation, the point mutation in RET will cause medullary carcinoma of thyroid and men type 2 syndrome. Okay, so men type 2 syndrome can also be can be characterized by pheochromocytoma and medullary carcinoma of thyroid. There are many other things also in men type 2 syndrome, but these two are very important: pheochromocytoma and medullary carcinoma of thyroid, and these are regulated via RET gene. Then further we have talked about ALK gene, that mutation of that can cause ALBCL and in inflammatory myofibroblastic tumor and adenocarcinoma of lung. Okay, so AMA. Okay, so ALK can cause AMA, and after that the third point was signal transduction protein. The first and most important one is RAS. Okay, the RAS one. The RAS can be of three types: KRAS, HRAS, and NRAS. Point mutation in all these three can lead to three different types of tumors. So point mutation in KRAS gene will lead to colon cancer, pancreatic cancer, and lung cancer. HRAS point mutation in HRAS gene will cause bladder cancer, bladder and kidney related carcinomas, and NRAS point mutation in NRAS will cause melanomas. Okay, so what is the basic physiology behind this? The RAS protein is inactivated when it is connected to GDP and activated when it is connected to GTP. So when it is inactivated, it inhibits cell proliferation, but when it is activated, it promotes cell proliferation. So what normally happens is this growth factor when reached to growth factor receptor, that converts GDP RAS to GTP RAS, and this activated RAS will signal the cycle to cell cycle to further lead to cell proliferation. Okay, so the more the activation of RAS, the more will be the continuation of cell cycle, and the more will be the proliferation. Now what happens after the when the cell need to stop the cell cycle, the GTP is further converted to GDP via the GTPase enzyme. GTPase enzyme is activated via GTPase activating protein, that is GAPS. Okay, now because of the mutation in the RAS gene, this GTPase activity, the GTPase cannot now extract the phosphate from this GTP, and because of that the GTP RAS retains in this cell, and So that lead the more proliferation of the cells, okay, and more of the GTP, more of the proliferation, okay. After that we have talked about the ABL gene, which is via translocation of 9 and 22, and that also causes the translocation between BCR and ABL gene that activate tyrosine kinase that can cause leukemias, okay. This BCR ABL gene can lead to two types of proteins, one which is having molecular weight of 210 kilodalton and one which is having molecular weight of 190 kilodalton, okay. So the one which is having 210 kilodalton will cause CML and the other one will cause ALL, okay. Imatinib is a drug that can that helps more in CML than ALL, okay. Now there is one gene which is BRAF V600, and this is responsible for papillary carcinoma of lung, hairy cell leukemia, astrocytoma, colon cancer, and melanoma, okay. And now BRAF mutation mostly 100% result in hairy cell leukemia. 60% of melanoma can also be associated with BRAF mutation, okay. Notch gene mutation will cause ALL. Now what is beta catenin? Beta catenin increase the MYC activity. MYC is a nuclear transcription factor, okay. So this increased activity of MYC will further lead to increased cell proliferation. This APC gene and cadherin decrease the beta catenin activity, okay, and beta catenin can lead to colon cancer, okay. Now the fifth one is nuclear transcription factor. The most important one is MYC gene. MYC gene increases cycling activity, increases the telomerase, and also it is called as master regulator of the cell. There are three types of MYC gene. First one is CMYC, second NMYC, third LMYC. The CMYC will cause Burkitt's lymphoma, NMYC neuroblastoma, and LMYC will cause L for lung, so small cell carcinoma of the lung. Now the final part, which is cyclins and CDKs. So for this we have talked about the cell cycle. So there are 4 phases of the cell cycle: G1, S, G2, M, and there are 2 checkpoints. One is situated between G1 and S, the second one is situated between G2 and M phase, okay. So the cyclins and CDKs that work between these, so the G1 so the cyclin D and the CDK4/6 work between G1 and first checkpoint. The cyclin E CDK2 work between checkpoint 1 and S phase to G2 phase. The cyclin B and CDK2/1 work in this phase, and the last one G2 to M phase, including the checkpoint 2, the cyclin B and CDK1 works there, okay. So now the CDK activity increased by the cyclins and decreased by the CDK inhibitors. There are two, we can divide this CDK inhibitors into two parts. The one which is non-specific and that work in all CDKs, that is P21, P27 and P57, and one which is having specificity for CDK4 and 6, that is P15, 16, 18 and 19, okay. So that was all about the first point of the hallmark of neoplasia, that was a sustained signal, self-sustained signaling of growth, okay, for growth. So thank you guys.